even saying that they would call Margaret, the First Lady, to find out the mood of the President before starting the negotiations. But nonetheless, today, being the 4th of June 2021, at least 34 judges have been sworn in to join their colleagues in the Court of Appeal, High Court, and the Court of Appeal and the High Court. And joining me tonight to talk about this, let's start, gentlemen, with a tweet from another legal practitioner, senior lawyer, that is Kipchumba Murkomen, Elgeyo Marakwet Senator, says, "Our eyes are all fixed on the liberation warrior, the prayer warrior, the Chief Justice and President of the Supreme Court, Justice Martha Koome. This is a watershed moment in the history of our judiciary and will define the legacy of CJ Koome." Over to you, Madam CJ. This is a tweet by Honorable Kipchumba Murkomen, a senior vocal legal practitioner. Abdinasir, I'm going to start with you. Giving a rating of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, how would you describe the independence of the judiciary?
Thank you, Faisal, for honoring us this evening. And thank you for your question. I think this evening, I am a hopeless, dejected Kenyan and very, very, very disappointed officer of the court, because it's a dark day in the country. So your question regarding the independence of judiciary, I can say it is below 5.
Below 5. What exactly? What number would you give it?
4 out of 10.
4 out of 10. 10 being the highest.
Absolutely.
You use very strong words there, dejected.
Absolutely, absolutely.
My goodness, why would you use strong words regarding the independence of the judiciary?
I think before the new CJ was sworn in,
yes,
the mood in the country was 50-50. People didn't know. I understand during the promulgation of the new constitution, I think Emeritus Chief Justice
Justice Martha Koome.
No, the one before Maraga, Justice Willie Mutunga was an activist himself. He redefined the entire judicial structure and the independence thing, and then came in Maraga, who has made some bold decisions. So, but now the state has recaptured the judiciary, and today is a sad day because some of us suspected or thought that the new CJ will stand her ground and defend the independence of judicial officers and the judiciary, but sadly she has given in and she has made Maraga the saint. So it is a sad day actually, so let's see how it goes, but we are so dejected this evening.
Interesting. They say that at Sylvia Wangeshi says that CJ Martha Koome has been in office less than a month, but I'm already missing this guy, putting the picture of ex-former Chief Justice, that is CJ Maraga. Over to you, my brother Noordeen. Again, I'm going to ask you the same question, a rating 1 to 10, 10 being the highest. How would you describe, or what rate would you give the independence of the judiciary?
In rating it, first and foremost, I'll concur with my brother here that it deserves a 4. Because in rating it, I'll use biological terms. You know, back in high school, I was a good biology student. So I believe the judiciary has been captured courtesy of the capture and recapture method that used to happen back in biology. You know, you capture insects, then they run away, then you recapture them again. Because it was the only arm of government that was a little bit independent. Because Parliament, as we know, is captured courtesy of, you see, members of Parliament, be it Senate or MPs, are usually captured because they belong to political parties. And political parties are owned by individuals. And that is why you hear the term, respect the party leader and party positions. That is a method of being captured.
Gentlemen, I'm perplexed by your feedback and your remarks, considering the fact that at least 34 judges have been sworn in. If anything, this would be a matter to celebrate, because cases were taking long at the High Court and the Court of Appeal because of less judges sitting on those benches. So why would you be sad at such a day when at least 34 of them have been sworn in and joined the bar?
What is sad is that, first and foremost, the names were 41. One died. That is one thing that shows that we are actually sad. We had to wait for one to die. And then after the death of one, after the death of the one,
yes,
34 get gazetted, and then 6 are left out. You see, what people don't understand is that the president is more or less a conveyor belt. Once names are forwarded by the JSC to him, his duty is not to decide who goes for gazettement and who doesn't. Because if anything, if any allegation is there against anyone, they should be raised during the vetting process. So if you fail to prove your case during the vetting process, the Constitution is very clear that once the names are forwarded to the president, his role is entirely ceremonial. Until that is changed, nothing can change there. Because as we sit here today and tonight, there is a court order that says that all of them should have been gazetted. But it's sad because you see, our laws are there they are meant to be in the libraries only to be seen, and we don't implement the laws.
And the JSC, the Judicial Service Commission, together with the Katiba Institute, together jointly filed a petition to seek a restraint order from the swearing in of the 34 judges, I beg your pardon. But again, still the president went ahead and swore them in. And of course, this happened in the presence of the Chief Justice, Martha Koome. Abdinasir Aden, what does that make you think or feel about our Chief Justice?
Initially, I want to add more weight on what my brother said regarding the happenings that we have witnessed yesterday. You know, the president's mandate is absolutely defined. He has no absolute authority in appointing judges to the judiciary. His work is just to gazette them. This was also confirmed in 2014 legal case, LSK, Law Society of Kenya versus the Attorney General, where the learned judge adjudged that the president's work is just to gazette them, just like confirmation. So he has no gerrymandering or the authority to accept some and or to reject some. So basically, this one, it was illegal, unconstitutional, and a strong signal that the President of the Republic of Kenya has the audacity to disobey the law itself. So it is one thing on its own that we need to also clear out first in this discussion. Number two, it is very sad, absolutely sad, to see an arm of government. During the Madaraka Day, the president openly attacked the judiciary in the presence of the Chief Justice, who is also the president of the Supreme Court. Yesterday,
we're going to get to that, Abdinasir. I'm going to get to that. That's you're just preempting it. First, because all of you subscribe to and pledge your allegiance to CJ, Lady Justice Martha Koome, correct? As legal practitioners, correct? Because she's the epitome of judiciary in this country.
We don't, because
allegiance is the Constitution.
Of course, allegiance to the Constitution, but who is the person? Who is the custodian of it? Is it not Lady Justice Martha Koome as the president of the Supreme Court, which is the highest court in this land?
Every single judge is a custodian.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
But I mean, gentlemen, Lady Justice Martha Koome, she's the epitome. She's the head of the Supreme Court. That is the highest court on this land, correct?
Yes.
Thank you. And whatever you're saying, that's Katiba Institute, together with the Judicial Service, with the JSC, that she's actually the chair. You know, they had went, seeked an order, and they got it. But still, the swearing in happened in her presence. and that's my question. So, like, where does that leave Katiba Institute and the JSC and the rest of legal practitioners who are feeling a bit disappointed by that? Nasir Ade, that was my question, brother.
Okay. It is shocking because you being the chair of the Judicial Service Commission, going and petitioning the High Court against the decision of the President to leave out 6 learned judges from the appointment. And then today, you are at the State House presiding over the appointment. It is laughable. Actually, I think it is time we Kenyans and the custodian of the Constitution to start the discussion of relooking on how to call out this Chief Justice, because it is laughable. It is something, I mean, the Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya is the president of the highest court in the land.
Yes.
Is the head of the judiciary. So I'm wondering, how is it possible you're sitting on Judicial Service Commission as the chairman, as the chairperson, and then today you go again, it is like, I think maybe
you already filed a petition on the body.
Absolutely. Maybe she was not party to the discussion that was made by Judicial Service Commission to seek, to petition the High Court. I think I am bewildered. This is unimaginable.
And leaves a lot of questions, begs a lot of questions, especially to the JSC and the structures. If you're doing something that's even your chairperson does not know, it begs a lot of questions here and there. And of course, now moving into a discussion that you preempted as well, it was part of my questions. The president's remarks on the Madaraka Day. I'm going to start with you, Noordeen Khagai, because my brother has already declared his stance and saw that that is an attack against the judiciary. Do you find it the same?
It's what you used to call the first body mentality back in school, remember? Where you actually want to make sure that you speak and everybody else, when you say sneeze, people catch a cold. When you say jump, they ask how high. That was clearly a threat, but in a nice and sweet way, without actually directing it as a threat. Because at the end of the day...
But that's based on your interpretation.
Bro. No, at the end of the day, listen, at the end of the day, there was no point in making such a remark. Because the matter is in court. Even talking about it is sub judice.
Sub judice.
Realize. That is why Justice Msinga said, let us not prosecute this case on television, or at barazas, at burials, or on newspapers. Let us deal with the matter in court. The court is competent enough to make a judgment. Now, it is sad because where we are coming from, I am not surprised, because you see, Jubilee since 2013, even if you look at the way it conducted itself, it really never observed the rule of law. And when you see senators like Murkomen and et al. Crying right now, it's because they're outside. You know, they are the ones who fed the monster that is actually facing them right now. So where we are right now, the sad reality is that the law is not being observed. But people fail to understand that court orders never expire. That is the reality. Now, whoever will enforce the court order, that's what matters. As a country, we are coming from a situation where things happened in 2007 because people didn't have faith in the courts. Now, people have started to get the faith that the courts can actually work. And then now we are going back to take the country back to where it used to, back in the old constitution. And that is why we're wondering, people want to bomb this constitution back into Stone Age. You realize? Because at the end of the day, the courts are the last line of defense for every individual. The moment that is taken away from you, a politician will grab your land and you'll do nothing about it.
Interesting. And
I think I want to add something on it.
Yes, brother.
I think the reason as to why the president attacked the judiciary that day...
Of course, we need to make it clear that that is based on your interpretation. The president attacking the judiciary.
Yes.
It's based on your interpretation.
Yes.
Good, let's go ahead.
He attacked judiciary. Remember, there's the BBI case in court, which the Court of Appeal is to hear it at the end of this month. Now, the main reason, what I think, is he wanted to coerce and intimidate
the judges
to
make a ruling in his favor.
To make a ruling in his favor. Which again, I mean, you know, there is also a distinction between all the arms of government, the three arms of government. But now, the only hope Kenyans have is in the judiciary. Because already, the parliament is captured. It is unsound, if I may use that word. There is no sound parliament. Parliament is captured, recaptured, again captured by the state. So it is a country where there is no rule of law. People can do anything they want. But then, I don't know, it's only that I can tell Kenyans, let's stick to what we are supposed to be defending.
Gentlemen, I'm surprised by your remarks on that and the judicial independence, considering the fact that the five-judge bench at the High Court level rule against what would be favorable to the president for as far as BBI is concerned. So if you're telling me that the judiciary has been captured and it was clear the way they ruled against what the president would wish for, like it's perplexed, it baffles me, and I fail to understand exactly what you mean by saying that the judiciary is captured.
You know, we're in the era of revisiting, all right? All right? So they are revisiting, all right? They feel that they were revisited courtesy of the judgment that was delivered by the High Court. So they are actually trying to revisit again. The sad reality is that, and if you really want to check what we are saying, that the executive is out to capture the judiciary, one of the key elements is having an ombudsman that reports to the president, courtesy of the BBI. That is one of the easiest examples you can get. Because at the end of the day, if you're a good history student, you'll realize one thing. The political elite are never going to be comfortable with a robust judiciary that is there to protect the Constitution. Absolutely. It will never happen. Because even Abraham Lincoln had an issue with the Supreme Court while he was president. So the political elite, they always want to find a way to outmaneuver the Constitution. And when they find a hindrance, they take care of the interest. And right now, they are revisiting. So anyone that stands in their way will be revisited, sadly enough.
The president's remarks on the court procedure that's ongoing, and as we all know that we just had the conference that happened yesterday, the conference 2 days ago, that happened, and of course we're expecting the proceedings, the mentions and all that to take place. And the president went ahead and mentioned something about an ongoing case, right? Either way, don't you think it's going, do you think there are chances of his speech and his remark to affect the ruling of the case? Abdinasir, I'm going to start with you.
I think we don't know, because judges or judicial officers make decisions based on facts and law. So the decision, the outcome of the decisions, we don't know. But then,
when we started, you guys, I asked you about the independence of the judiciary, and both of you guys gave a 4. So that means it is highly influenced or affluenced. We don't know by who, where. You didn't disclose that.
So the attacks on the judiciary by the president is clearly against the principle of sub judice. The principle that says that you cannot discuss a matter that is in court in any forum. Because if the matter is in court, it will going to affect the merits and demerits of the case.
True.
So now, we know that the statements, as far as I know, the statement of the president on Madaraka Day was a clear indication that he's trying to sway or coerce or intimidate
the judges
so that they make a favorable decision to the BBI process. So we don't know the decision that they'll make. We are yet to know the 7-judge bench which will be instituted by the President of the Court of Appeal. So it is wait and see, but I pray that the decision they are going to make is based on law and facts.
Interesting. Noordeen Khagai, I'll ask you please to weigh in as well on that matter, about the president's remarks and how it's going to likely to affect, if at all it's going to affect the ruling. Because of course you need to factor in one, Jubilee's party is the CS without portfolio yet, that is Honorable Tuju, when in an interview in one of the mainstream media on that night when the ruling was given, he gave some remarks, the following day rather, he gave some remarks that appeared to be also threatening the judges, intimidating the judges and the independence of the judiciary. So we don't know, is it the same line, is it the same pattern that the president took, but maybe in a bit subliminal way? Noordeen Khagai, I'm going to ask you the same question. So the president, whatever he said at the Madaraka Day, is it likely to affect the judiciary's ruling, Court of Appeal's ruling on this BBI matter in any way?
The intention was to have an impact. Now, we cannot sit here and say, oh, it has an impact, until we get the judgment. Absolutely. Now, from the judgment, therefore, we'll realize the impact that statement actually had. So if it had no impact, then we know the judgment. But if it has an impact, but you have to realize, it depends on how the case is presented in court. You see, the judges are never going to make a decision courtesy of the court of public opinion. Yes, it is what is present in court. Those are facts, like my brother here said. So the facts that are in court are what matter. So as Justice Musinga said, and I would like to refrain from discussing the matter that is in court, let us wait and see what happens, the judgment they come up with. Because at the end of the day, the Supreme Court is still there.
Yeah.
So people have to go back to the Supreme Court if anyone who feels that the decision does not favor them. So we hope and pray that any threat that is sent to them fails, be it from the president or from anyone else. Because at the end of the day, there is something that people forget. When you talk about independence, they're not saying that they operate in mass. They have to operate with other arms of government. Okay. So people misconstrue interdependence to mean you can control one arm. Yes. So let us give the judiciary the oomph and the power to do its duty based on the law, so that they can actually make judgment that is founded on the law. And if anyone has a problem, you can always seek redress at the end of the day.
Matters Ombudsman, gentlemen, you've touched on it. Let's talk about it. Matters Ombudsman, it's a structure that has been there for the longest time ever. Why is it that the legal practitioners are now voicing out when it's been reintroduced as well in the Building Bridges initiative? But it's something that has been there. Rorieda, Member of Parliament, that is Honorable Lieutenant Amolo, was once an ombudsman as well in this country. So it's something that has been there. But again, why this hullabaloo and all this noise right now from the BBI naysayers, opponents for that matter, making noise about this ombudsman issue, saying that it's going to compromise on the independence of the judiciary? Let's start with you, Abdinasir.
I think I have read myself the BBI proposals, and that specific provision on the ombudsman perplexed me. It's like the president is a prefect on the judiciary.
Okay.
It's like ombudsman ought to interlink the public and the judiciary and also the executive. But now, according to the proposal they're making, is he will be reporting directly to the president. Okay. This one is going to make the president an imperial president, which we are running away from. Now, according to the current constitution of the 2010, we have, the laws are stipulated very well. Okay. The three arms of government are supposed to be independent with all the happenings, all the runnings on its own. Now, if the constitution itself has said that, and we have the independence of all the three arms of government, what do you think of a situation where the ombudsman is going to be reporting to the president? I think you're going to lose that word of independence of the judiciary, because it's like when we were in high school, the principal always listens to the prefect.
Yeah.
The prefect reports. If somebody has not come to school, he reports. So it is like it will going to drain the gains we have made through the 2010 constitution. So that's why the legal practitioners, the judicial officers, and also the scholars in this country are against that provision in BBI that is trying to reintroduce the era of the president, the imperial presidency.
Imperial presidency.
Yes.
That's coming.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right now, we don't have the imperial presidency, but if I can quote you, or rather what you meant, you say that, one, the legislature is already captured. That's why you have the national, a silent legislature. Those were your words, Noordeen. Both the Senate and the National Assembly, they are quite silent. They have been captured. You say we are living in a capture-recapture, of course, citing biology as one of your favorite subjects in high school. We don't have an imperial presidency as it is, but again, the situation is this way. The way we are describing it, it's bad. The judiciary has been captured and recaptured. It was captured and now it's being recaptured right now. In onwards, the legislature has been captured by the executive. What could be worse than this, Noordeen?
You know, as per the Constitution 2010, we don't have an imperial president.
As per the Constitution?
Yes.
As per the current state of the nation, we have an imperial president.
Absolutely.
Because of the actions.
So what could be worse than this?
What is worse is when one person has power over everything. That power is tantamount to be abused.
If I understood you correctly, doesn't he have the powers right now? Because he controls the judiciary, he controls the legislature.
And that is the problem. It shouldn't be that way, because the judiciary and the legislature are meant to offer checks and balances.
Absolutely.
The moment there are no checks and balances, power can be abused.
Meant to.
Exactly.
And if they're not?
What do you mean?
Are they doing it right now?
They are not doing.
Exactly. So what could be worse than this? And that's my question.
What could be worse is that it is a dangerous precedent. Whoever comes into office will tell himself, if so-and-so could not obey court orders, what will happen to me? And so we'll turn Kenya from a state into a banana state. You realize?
Banana is even sweet, bro.
You know, so at the end of the day, we are going to lose the foundation of what those forefathers fought for. You see, I keep telling people this. The other day we had Madaraka Day.
Yeah.
Personally, I didn't celebrate it because according to me, there is nothing to celebrate.
Absolutely.
You don't have Madaraka?
Let me tell you something. It's because it is not yet Uhuru, and I don't mean the president here. let me tell you something. At the end of the day, let me tell you something.
Yes.
The revolution happened, all right?
Yes.
But the oppressor lost nothing. They control the land, they control the economy, they control our movement, they control our politics. And what do I mean by the oppressor? The oppressor is the white man that left, but left a white man in dark skin. So the puppets that were left here are controlling things instead of the white man. But at the end of the day, years after independence, 58 to be precise, you're still struggling with 3 diseases as at independence: poverty, diseases, and ignorance. And you're talking about a celebration. That tells you where your country is going, and this is not changing. The other day, I was shocked to see people celebrating the fact that Nyanza is getting resources. It is their right. They get taxed. So there's nothing that should make that be a celebration people to clap about. Because the moment you marginalize them is already an illegality. Because when you get sworn in, for example, you, Faisal, when you get sworn in at Uhuru Park, you'll never say you're going to be the president of Nairobi or the president of Kericho, the president of the Republic of Kenya. So what we have in Kenya is the problem in Kenya is a leadership crisis. And that comes because we fail on the chapter on integrity. That is what we lack in our leaders. And that is why parliament can be captured. Because no one will stand for the people. They get elected and a panel beaten to a certain position. Because once they don't do that, oh boss, remember that scandal? You get called. So if our leaders had fidelity to the constitution, if they had integrity, Kenya would move forward. But until then, we're in shackles, my brother.
Amina Nasuru says, MashaAllah, my brother, may Allah give you good health and long live, inshallah. I mean, I don't know which, because you're all, I don't know which brother. But maybe it's your Abdinasir from your laughter, maybe it's you, yeah? Sadia Morasi, I'm surprised too. I wish Maraga would have not gone for retirement and put up a crying emoji. This revisiting is hard. May Allah guide, may Allah guide who? May Allah guide all our judges, inshallah. That's some of the feedbacks I'm having. Mariam Kamal says, mashallah. Abdullahi Musa says, I'm loving the show, young, energetic leaders. Next question, gentlemen. Of course, we are touching on everything in regards to the judiciary and the independence of the judiciary. Lawyers have described His Excellency the President, the incumbent, that is Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, as one of the worst leaders to have ever set foot, rather the judiciary has ever had, because of the number of court orders that he has ignored. Right? Who is to blame for all these legal blunders His Excellency is making? Abdinasir, let's start with you. You have the mic, bro. Karibuni chai, by the way, courtesy of Zukamo Melipi advertisement. Suleiman, have they paid for the advert? I mentioned them. But again, it's very nice tea, guys. Karibuni chai, you can sip as we are talking.
Thank you. I think it's sumptuous from, I've not yet tested, but sumptuous.
It looks nice.
Thank you.
Karibu sana, my brother. Yeah.
I think if we have had a sound parliament, I'm talking of, in this case, both the bicameral parliaments, the Senate and the National Assembly. We could have had Uhuru Kenyatta impeached a long time ago. The fact that it took Uhuru Kenyatta 2 years to gazette the 41 judges to the judiciary itself is a threshold for impeachment of the presidency, because it's one of the reasons as to why, as a president, he has abducted his responsibilities. The second reason as to why he should have been impeached is he has ignored 28 court orders. Remember, the law says if you ignore a court order, that's contempt of court.
Yes. And he's the president.
And then interestingly...
The guardian and the custodian of the Constitution.
Yes. And interestingly, one of the thresholds of impeachment of the president is if he ignores the law and goes against the Constitution of Kenya 2010 and any other law that makes part of the Kenyan laws. Now your question is, what happens if he ignores all court orders? Who is to blame for? I think we have had the worst Attorney General in this country. And sadly, I have to say this, that this Attorney General, Honorable somebody Kariuki, was the president of the Court of Appeal before his appointment as the Attorney General. And you wonder, is there anything, any type of induction if you go into government? Because I remember some of the decisions the president he has set as a judge at the Court of Appeal were very sound. Then you also try to remember the case between Kenya and Somalia and how badly we have been beaten, or rather how the case is going on in the court in ICJ, and all the constitutional or the legal blunders that the government have been doing, and they have been beaten hands down. And then you wonder, who is the chief legal advisor of the government? So this all resolves the chief legal advisor of the government, that's Attorney General. That's one. Number two, the second person to blame is also the president himself. Because as far as I know, the president is sound. He's the president of the Republic of Kenya. He's the commander-in-chief. He ought to obey the court orders. So it is baffling. It is absolutely tantalizing, if I may use, to see such decisions that are coming out of the executive of today.
Interesting feedbacks here, gentlemen. Wakiwa Wanyeke says there is no judicial independence without judges' individuals' independence. And what Uhuru has done by cherry-picking judges to a point is the greatest affront to the judges' individuals' independence. How CJ Kwame deals with this floats or sinks Kenya's last institution. And of course, of the same breath, we have Chimba Marano says, how do we put judges into account if they're untouchable and unquestionable? I mean, all these circumnavigating around judiciary independence and all that, and how His Excellency the President gets the advantage of moving and navigating as he wishes in this judiciary. And you said his roles are specified in the Constitution. I'm going to come to you, what do you call it, Noordeen, my brother. You're a legal practitioner and you're practicing law and everything. So this was the hope for every Kenyan, that is the judiciary. It was the hope for every Kenyan to get justice, at least, right? And now that we are saying, you are saying, not we are saying, you are saying that it has been recaptured, then where does that leave the Wanjiku, the Monainchi, the Fatuma, and the Abdallah down there? Where does he go?
Their last line of defense are all now in the sick bay. Now they are playing without defenders, so it's just the strikers and midfielders. So the goalkeeper most definitely will get scored, and that is the Monanchi. What I'm trying to say in short is that the sad reality is that the moment observance of court orders is not done, if you, as a leader, can't observe a court order, then why should I? That is a banana republic. You realize what I was saying when we started. Because at the end of the day, law is meant to bring about order. Where there is no law, there's no order. So it's a jungle, survival for the fittest. So the weak will always perish at the expense of the strong. It's like a jungle. The lion will always kill the gazelle. No matter how many times it runs, it will always catch up with it. So at the end of the day, what we want is a country...
Survival for the fittest, you mean?
You know, the sad reality is that, you see, when you're being sworn in, you say you're going to uphold and protect the Constitution. So when you turn around and annihilate the same Constitution, that in itself is an illegality. You see, to give Martha Koome, when she was being vetted, she said something to answer what one of your viewers is saying. She said something. She was asked about these 40 judges hurdle. She said, I will approach it with consultation. So, according to her, That is a consultation, 34 names.
But again, isn't it a stride? Out of 40, at least we're having a stride. 34 are there.
It's really not a stride because it clearly shows there's a personal vendetta. Because at the end of the day, you know, what people forget, someone has just asked how this judge is kept in check. The JSC is there for you to petition them in case you have an issue with a judge.
Yes.
So and so has done this to me, you petition JSC, and they will follow it up. If he or she is found culpable, then action is taken against them.
Just so like Nancy Baraza.
Exactly. Against Nancy Baraza, you should know people.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, let me tell you, at the end of the day,
yes,
JSC is there to do a vetting process. Yes. Of those 41 judges who are vetted, in that JSC, the AG is there representing the government. Now, if you have any intelligence against any single individual, bring your case forward and plead your case. If that is not done and names are forwarded, and then you come back and say, oh, by the way, years later, by the way, we have issues about person ABCD, that clearly shows your intelligence is failing you.
You want to talk about Justice Odunga's name missing in the 40 names?
I wasn't surprised because...
Abdinasir, you want to talk about that? You want to go ahead and start that. But before we start that, I need to read this. Fauzia Musasia says, very enjoyable watching such a mature and insightful political discussion from our learned Muslim brothers. MashaAllah, watching all the way from Germany. Yes, Abdinasir. Justice Odunga's name is missing from the list.
Faisal, let me tell you, as an officer of the court, one of the judicial officers I love most is Justice Odunga. Fearless, bold. And I wasn't surprised. I wasn't surprised at all because the decisions, if you go to Kenya Law Reports and see all the decisions, the constitutional decisions against the government, it was rendered by, majority of them was rendered by Justice Odunga.
True.
And you can clearly understand when you see Joel Odunga, Joel Ngugi, Justice Odunga and Wilton Korir, these three judges, which have been firm, bold, giving facts and law on the decision they have made against the government, and then you miss them in the list. You can clearly say the president had issue with them because they were bold, they were with the law, and they were also with the facts. So I wasn't surprised at all. And I think Kenyans are there to see. And Uhuru Kenyatta is just president for only 1 year and 4 months. After 1 year and 4 months, he's going to go home. Kenyans will elect another one. And life continues. But one thing he should remember, he should not set as a legacy that he will going to be remembered for the rest of his life. Because all the presidents combined, including his father, I'm sorry to say this, Uhuru Kenyatta is the only president who has oversaw the mutilation of the Constitution of Kenya today. So it is up to him to decide whether he is going to leave a good legacy where Kenyans will remember him, or he's going to perish with it, because Kenyans are out there to see what he's doing. And in one year and 4 months, Kenyans will judge him.
Mohammed from Mandera said, before I loop you in, Noordeen Khagai, because you were laughing, and when I asked that question, you came out hysterically laughing about that matter. But Mohammed from Mandera is saying, all I'm listening is you guys expounding on the problems. We need solution, man. You know, Justice Odunga's name missing from that. You know,
you see, I'm not surprised. You see, he's not surprised the same way. I'll tell you why. He is in the constitutional division, right? So is Joel, and so is Weldon Korir. You have to realize one thing. When NASA, it was NASA, when CORD back then, between 2013 and 2017, had issues, they used to get rulings and judgments from
Justice Odunga.
Until he was transferred to Machakos. And that was not just by coincidence.
Yes.
You realize?
Yes.
He was a pain.
The problem is, exactly, he was a pain. The problem is, when you mutilate the Constitution and someone goes to court, and they the court finds that, yes, you did mutilate the Constitution, you'll never be happy. It's what I told you. The political elite see a Constitution. It's across the world. They see the Constitution as a hindrance in any agenda they want.
Yes.
Because the Constitution there helps the common man. And it brings about checks and balances. That is why you have the separation of powers. Sadly, It is only in paper, but in practice, it is not there. And your audience just asked, what can we do to change? It is very simple. It starts from the voter.
Exactly. So hold it there. As because I'm asking you too many questions, and again, you're not getting an opportunity to enjoy this tea. I've asked my producer if this tea has been paid for, the advert has been paid for, but he told me that the adhan is what has been paid for, and we are up for adhan right now at the station. So if you can just hold it there, let's pay our bill. Such a tough time, Shara. In TV you only get paid through advertisement.
It's true.
Yeah, so acha to pata mshahara kidogo mara moja, and then you get back as you guys get to sip the tea, and process the information, and then you come back for solutions, inshallah.
Inshallah.
So don't you go anywhere, because we are sipping our tea inside here. And after that, of course, we're going to get the wisdom from the tea and from the discussions we've had. And we're going to come back with the solutions after the break.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Na sasa mafuta ya nyota yanakuja na mwonekano mpya. Vile nyota inavyong'aa angani, ng'arisha mapishi yako na mafuta ya nyota. Ni mafuta halisi yenye afya tele bila lehemu, yani cholesterol. Ina harufu nzuri ya kuvutia na ladha ya aina yake. Kwa mapishi bora tumia mafuta ya nyota. Furahia vyakula vitamu na familia yako bila kuwasahau majirani. Nyota, your healthy choice.
Dua unapokwenda kulala. Allahumma bismika amutu wa ahya. Ewe Mwenyezi Mungu, kwa jina lako nafa na nitafufuka. Dua unapoamka. Soma alhamdulillahi alladhi ahyana ba'da ma amatana wa ilayhi nushur. Namshukuru Mwenyezi Mungu ambaye amenifufua baada ya kunifisha, na kwake yeye tunarejea.
Kupata hii kama sikiza tune yako, bonyeza *812 *316#.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا نودي للصلاة من يوم الجمعة فاسعوا إلى ذكر الله وذروا البيع ذلكم خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون.
Enyi mlioamini, munapoitwa kuhudhuria swala ya Ijumaa, fanyeni haraka kuikimbilia, muache biashara zenu, hilo ni bora ikiwa mwelewa.
Isikilizeni kwa umakinifu khutba ya Ijumaa
ili uzidi kujenga imani yako na kupata faida nyingi ya siku hii.
Coming to you every Friday from Jamia Mosque, Nairobi.
Live on HorizonTV.
HorizonTV, the beacon for the nation.
Amazing, brilliant mind right here inside the studio. Thank you so much for keeping it live. Real talk. Amazing, brilliant mind. This is Hassan from Olesereni. We're watching from Olesereni, and amazing, brilliant mind in studios. Omar Ali Noisy Gun says, Assalamu alaikum, tuko ndani, ka vibes cartel. Of course, the young and the young generation looking forward to a better and a prosperous country. Everyone, I mean, is depressed, and people are so sad by the state of the nation right now in this country. And we need to talk about solutions in the remaining minutes that we have. Like, where do we move from here? Because the wananchis wa kawaida, where do they go to? Or the legal practitioners, now that you're saying things are bad, things are thick in the corridors of justice, then where do they go to? Where do they run to? Noordeen, Khagai, you had started saying something.
You see, the power rests with the people. That's why they say sovereignty of the people, right?
Okay.
Now, that power is exhibited either personally or by an elected.
Yes.
President.
Now, the personal way of exercising your power is voting. And this is where the people come in. You need to differentiate between someone who comes and campaigns on a platform of giving you a packet of flour and sugar, and someone who is coming to talk about issues to solve and policies to bring. Realize that is the problem.
Yeah.
And then the other thing we need to look away from, stop voting using your tribal lines. You're like, you say, my party, let's say for example, I am tribe X and our party is Y. I'll only vote for people who are in party Y. 3/4 of people who are in that party that you're voting for are the ones who are going there to annihilate the constitution. Because in the constitution we have something called the chapter on leadership and integrity. So that threshold in Kenya needs to be raised. We need to raise that bar in Kenya. We stop electing clowns.
Has it been implemented fully for that matter? For even to be, for us to have a discussion about raising the bar higher, has it even been implemented fully?
When you try to vie for a seat, you have to get clearances.
Yes.
That is one way of trying to implement that. Now those clearances that are there are questionable. Now the same thing, we have members of parliament right now who are degree holders of courses that are meant to be taken 4 years, but they graduate in 2 years. So that is another problem that, you see, so we need to look at our institutions. So as I was saying, you see the sad reality is that the other week I was watching the Pan-African Parliament, or as it's called PAP, and I realized the problem facing Africa is Africans themselves. Because in that parliament, we have grouped ourselves into regions: South African, East African, Eastern African, Western African, and Northern African. And there is no way you're going to solve issues collectively because you think as a region. And then the biggest issue that faces us, the tribalism in Kenya, if you take it to the PAP, is the Anglo and Francophone speaking.
Yeah.
So you see, Africans need to sit down and ask themselves, where do we want to go going forward?
And that is the key role, but then they enacted voting, yeah?
But for that to happen, you need to have a common goal. You see, for Kenyans to wake up and start electing leaders based on policies and integrity, you need to get to a point where you feel enough is enough. Now life is hard. When you see a member of parliament anywhere, ask them. There's a finance bill that is being passed where they're talking about 16% on LPG. Muulize uko wapi wakati ile kitu inapitishwa. Because they come on Twitter, they rant with you instead of going to parliament. So I keep saying that we need to raise the leadership and integrity threshold in Kenya because we elect so many clowns. And as I say, if you elect a clown, expect a circus. Nothing different.
Yeah.
Abdinasir Aden, how do we move? Where do we go from here?
I think I agree with my learned friend.
Yes.
The first solution is the people of Kenya. The supremacy of the constitution is directly exercised through the people. And through the people is through the ballot. Now, I remember an MP in the National Assembly stood and said that we are cows following our political parties or political leaders. So the moment you elect cows to National Assembly or the Senate, who do not safeguard the interest of the people that elected them, is the moment you are going to lose everything. You are going to have unsound parliament. You are going to have an executive which will going to be mutilating the constitution and rushing through right, left, and center. That is one. Number two, the reason as to why I have a problem with Uhuru Kenyatta is he came to power 2013. Today, Chapter 10 of the Constitution, and I think it's Article 160 of the Kenyan Constitution, that states that there shall be a consolidated fund, judiciary consolidated fund, that will going to give that independence, the financial independence to the judiciary to run their work. Today, the High Court in Garissa is not complete. The High Court in Mandera, the buildings, the infrastructure buildings, is not yet complete in Wajir. In Mandera as well. It is told because they revisited. You remember the famous revisit?
We shall revisit.
If the judiciary could have had the consolidated fund today, they shouldn't have even had to wait and see from the National Treasury to complete those infrastructure development to seek to render justice to Kenyans. So it is Kenyans themselves to decide their destiny. If you elect good leaders,
you'll get good
we
results.
are going to have good results and good people to protect the rule of law in this country.
Jen just read my mind and asked this question. Says, I don't know where she's from, but Jen asked, does that mean that we have no hope until next year?
For now, we have no hope. For now, the leaders...
We have nowhere to run to, we have no hope until next year? That's what you mean, Jen?
No, you can't say that.
There is.
What do you mean? Both of you are talking about elections. And
there is.
They talk about the solution going forward.
Yes.
Solution going forward is vote for a person that is there to take care of your interest, a person that is there to uphold the law. You know, I even forgot, there's a bill coming that is going to deal with the honey. So there's going to be registration. So those small scale, listen, those small scale farmers who deal with honey, if you've gone into the gist of that bill, they're going to perish, and that is going to bring a shortage of honey, which will bring about importation. And importation is more or less a cartel that is going to enjoy that. That is your country. So we need to separate the cartels from leadership. And that is where we say the voter comes in.
Rumor has it there is also another income tax bill that's going to suggest an increment in the income tax. And my producer is always saying, bro, Wajir governor refused to go, Nyandarua County Assembly refused to go. Could it be learning from our boss?
You know, let me tell you something. You see,
again, just before we touch on this, you're saying something. Does that mean we have no hope as until the general elections?
So long as you are alive, there is hope. Things can change. There is hope. And at the end of the day,
what's the hope? What can you do until next year?
Our best, I told you, the best line of defense, or the last one for the people, is the judiciary. And that is why you see, listen, and that is why some of us are fighting so hard to make sure the judiciary is strong. Because if you give in, if our forefathers gave in, we'd still be under the British colony. But they didn't. It was hard. They had no guns. They went into battle with people with arms. So at the end of the day, you cannot despair. What we gave them here about voting is a measure of last resort.
How are you fighting? How are you fighting? And how can Kenyans join in the fight? If you're fighting, for example, if you're fighting, then how are you fighting? You say you're fighting to ensure the independence of the judiciary. So how are you fighting?
You know the best way?
Yes.
The best way Kenyans can actually do? You see, courtesy of your member of parliament.
Yes.
Your member of parliament is your representative.
Okay.
Your thoughts should be what they bring to parliament. If you feel that the court orders in Kenya are not being upheld, if you feel that the executive is not taking care of your interest,
yes,
that is where a member of parliament can bring about a petition of impeachment. That is their duty.
Okay.
And if they can't, it is still your duty to recall a member of parliament. We still have mechanisms of recalling a member of parliament. You know, we forget that the power these people enjoy is power delegated, because the original power is with you. The moment you realize you can recall a member of parliament, that is when they will wake up to the realization that they are meant to serve us and not the other way around. The easiest way out for us right now is to wake up our members of parliament. Because as it is, with the judiciary being fought, they can help the judiciary. That is the easiest way. Because you and I, as citizens, it would be hard. Or we can decide, like, there is a country that legal practitioners decided not to go to court. They boycotted court sessions. But you realize, even if we do that, the client is the one who's going to suffer. Because there are cases which are pro bono, where people are actually, their rights have been infringed. So the people need to get in touch. I remember during the curfew that was in Nairobi, the other one that was at 7 or 8 p.m., people on Twitter talking about a revolution. Now, you see, a revolution cannot be on Twitter. Neither can it be on Facebook. You see that day at, what's the name of this road? Thika Road. That was the best day for revolution. But we sat in cars and we hoot until morning.
And we tweeted.
Exactly, that is the problem. You see, that's what I'm saying. You see, this thing about revolution is in everyone. You just need to get to a point where you say, you need to be triggered. Enough is enough. Because as it is, life is so expensive right now that even buying basic commodities like groceries is a luxury. If you have a couple of onions in your house, it's like you have a BMW. And we need to change that narrative. We are a country that is talking about, we are building roads, industrialization. But you can't even feed your own people. Which country is that? We have sat here, we call Uganda a banana state, but the people are fed. Even if it's a banana state, you are a country that you're aspiring to be a first nation. When you import 3/4 of the products that you have in Kenya. So we need to change how we do our things. When you see industries like Mumias collapsing and nothing is being done, when you see the national carrier that is Kenya Airways collapsing and nobody is saying anything, those are issues that we need to talk about. But the moment we keep quiet and we rant, and then come election, we elect the same people. You know, these people, the funny thing is that with our politicians, right now we have those who are in Jubilee. Actually, there were some who were in TNA and URP. And then they jumped into Jubilee. And now we have those who are appointed to protect the Constitution cadence of being in UDA, while they alienate the same constitution. So you see, it's always the same monkeys, different forests. So you end up electing someone who has changed a jersey, but has not changed the software. It's like the BBA, according to me.
Gentlemen, I need to read these comments before I need to bring you in, Abdinasir, as well. Michael says we are living in a political country. We need to be practical. Abdul says our MPs will follow their political masters, not us. Muhammad says good points, Abdinasir. Why not run for an elective seat? Rahma says good, young, brilliant minds. I have hope in our future. Abdinasir Aden, right now before 2022 general elections, as you're finalizing this and wrapping this up, what can we do as Kenyans before that time?
First of all, the president is a Kenyan himself.
Yeah.
He was elected by Kenyans. He ought to uphold the rule of law the way he was sworn in.
Yeah.
So the buck stops with him first. He should obey the law and respect the law, number one. Number two, Kenyans have a lot to do. As my learned friend said, we have representatives. Although some of them term themselves cows, still some cows can give milk.
Yes.
So there are some cows that are more important than others. So I hope, I have seen them tweeting, some of them are very sad about the situation of the country and what happened with the appointment of the judges.
Yes.
I hope they come to their senses and call out the president on this. Number three, we have a very rich Bill of Rights that give us the right to assemble and the right to picketing.
Yeah.
So I think if Kenyans today unanimously come together and do sittings in parliaments, sittings in all the major roads, sittings in the State House, my friend, the pressure will give in. You remember during the NASA thing and the boycotting of some products in the part of Nyanza, and the president was pressured and he had to bring in the handshake. So I think it is only Kenyans who can stand up. If the lawyers today say we are not going to go to court, we are going to go and join Kenyans. If the judges say we are going to join Kenyans, everybody, the civil society, everybody says enough is enough.
Yes.
The president should stop this intimidation of the judiciary. I am telling you, my friend, he will give in, and we are going to have a country.
Thank you. Thanks so much, gentlemen. Thank you so much for making time for us. Thank you so much for your feedbacks, amazing feedbacks, a lot of them streaming in. Of course, I cannot go through them, but again, I've read some of them, and I'm sorry, the others I cannot read. I'll share the ones that have personal attachment to my panelists. I'll share with them as well some of these feedbacks. And thank you so much to you, our viewers, for keeping us company throughout this whole hour as we were discussing about judicial independence and matters judiciary in this country with these young, two brilliant minds. We have hope in our country. We have hope in our future if these are the leaders we are looking at. Thanks so much, gentlemen. Thanks so much to the team that made this possible. As Sancho Sana from the producer, director, floor manager, and everyone. Thanks so much. I've been your host, Faisal Kassim. See you next week, same place, same time, as we are talking about another topic yet affecting you, the common Wananchi, back at home. Assalamu alaikum.
Salam.
Salam.